Ballarat National Theatre have found themselves rubbing shoulders with HBO, Comedy Central, the BBC. They're being an honoree in the Webby Awards. This is thanks to a podcast that was put together, an adaptation of a Jane Austen novel. Liana is the podcast director and is with me this morning. Liana, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What's a Webby?
Just straight off the bat with the difficult questions.
You know, come on.
So the Webbies are the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. So it's like the web equivalent of the Academy Awards.
Right, okay. Yeah. So like an Oscar for web-based
content, yeah.
Stuff. Okay.
So the web-based content might be anything from a game, graphic design, the cover of an EP, and podcasts, obviously, as well. And there's different categories of podcasts. There's quite a few different categories. And I think they had... So this is the 25th Annual Webby Awards, and they had a record-breaking amount of entrants this year. So there were 13,500 entrants in the Webbies. Yeah.
Wow. So Ballarat National Theatre being nominated?
So there's two parts to getting into the category that we're in. So in each category there are 10 people that are shortlisted. They are the top 10 of that category. And the bottom 5, so that's us. So you're an honoree, that's locked in. And then the top 5 are nominees, and the internet gets to go in and vote for who they think should take out the honour. So the judges go through and shortlist the top 10 and top 5, and then the internet shortlists the top 1.
Wow. Okay, so do you know in your category, it was the Pride and Prejudice podcast, do you know how many overall entries there were in the category that you're an honoree for?
No, they don't tell you that.
Yeah. But still, top 10 worldwide.
It's a big deal.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Just remind people about the podcast. Remind people about doing that in the first place.
Oh, sometimes I wish I could forget. So at the start of 2020, something really unprecedented since wartime happened for theatres, and you know it happened to every single industry, but for theatres you weren't able to gather in a cinema or a theatre or any type of environment like that because it was a major risk. So theatres internationally closed down, and it was quite a breathtaking thing to happen. Now, we're a regionally based theatre company. We've been around for 83 years. We've never had to do anything like this before. So the team from the 2018 Pride and Prejudice production that we had, which was Sell Out, they got together and were just, let's have a read through that old script together. And then Olivia French and I both, so Olivia is my assistant director and the narrator of this podcast, were like, why don't we do some sort of online production of it? And then to be copyright free, we went for Pride and Prejudice, the novel, which was like, at the time... Yeah, you're just like, we'll just read an entire book. It's 120,000 words. This was a rookie error, and it's the biggest project I've ever done in my entire life. I think I was putting into it between 15 and 30 hours minimum per week on top of a full-time job. And Olivia was putting mammoth hours as well, also and doing all the work that she was doing to read the full story. And then together, so it took us months and months and months because we had to learn how to do it too. I had to learn how to sound edit. We had no idea how to do a podcast. Neither of us had done it before. So we're really lucky we had a supportive theatre company to let us hash out the
how it
processes.
Actually works, yeah. So did you cull any of those 127,000 words?
No, we foolishly added more in. So there was a point where we realised that certain characters don't actually speak, which is like Georgiana Darcy maybe says 1 to 2 things, I think. So we gave her some dialogue. There were points where Mr. Denny was a character that we loved, so we gave him more dialogue. But otherwise we're bringing in actors to work on a 10-month project that they would say something very briefly for 5 minutes, and that would be it. So the way we did that was when Austen would describe the conversation, we would turn that description into dialogue, which is a better listening experience for the audience. And it was kind of easy because I've got a major in literature studies and Olivia's got a major in, I think it's classic literature.
Yep.
So both of us knew what we're doing with the text. And I think like audiences had a lot of positive stuff to say about it, and many of them didn't notice that we added stuff in. So I think we did an okay job.
It's at what point did you think, because I'm sure there was a point, this is too much? Was it early on or was it late on? Or is it now?
No, it was probably once a week for multiple points. There's that old saying, you know, the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And so the amount of inertia it took for us to constantly be putting out an episode every week was astronomical. And for me as director, the first time I realised how much effort was going in, because I was like, you know, at some point, you know, maybe when I've uploaded and published the episode, I'll have a little moment and be like, yay, or whatever. I think it was like third or fourth re-records for Olivia for the final episode. And I was just like, why? How do we keep having, there's more things always to do with this episode. But she sent me her recordings and I put them in and it was just drafted and ready to go. And I knew how easy it was to do the final steps. Like it was just one foot in front of the other from that point. And I put my head on the keyboard and cried. It was like the weight of my shoulders was unbelievable. Yeah.
How long is it?
In total, it's 14 and a half hours of entertainment.
30 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you recovered?
Yeah, well, I have definitely recovered enough to be secretly squirreling away on multiple other projects. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. So okay, you've done this. You've released it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been successful. It's been received well.
Yeah.
How do you then get into the Webbies? Do you nominate it? Does someone else nominate it? How does it get onto that scale? How does it then get recognised?
So they opened for nominations. So as I said, 13,500 people applied to be nominated for it. And then there's which... it's a lot of money to get in.
Right.
Just to be considered by a panel of judges. And I took a massive gamble putting us in. There were several categories we could have gotten in for, but I did not have the few $1,000s to put us in for the multiple categories. And I just lost my job. So I was sitting there looking at the last amount of money in my bank account, being like, do I take this ridiculous risk and put this in? And I did. And then I was like, I'm just not going to think about it because I've only just landed another job. And I'm like, if I've spent all this time like job hunting and I stupidly spent the last amount of my money putting in for the Internet Academy Award equivalent, like what a fool. And then got the email from them saying, you know, we're judging next week. And I'm just like, don't think about it. And then following emails saying, you guys have been made an honoree. And I didn't know what to do with that information. So I just sort of sat on for a bit. I didn't tell anyone that I'd entered.
So as an honoree, do you get your money back?
No, but we do get a really fancy certificate for free, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. All right, then professionally, what does it mean for you to be an honoree?
Well, I know that, like, I've contacted all the actors and stuff, and I was like, on your resume, you can now say this project is a Webby Award honoured, Webby Award Honoree project, and I think it may mean something big for me. I don't know. I've never directed anything before, so it's kind of like your directorial debut is now a Webby Award Honoree, and as I said before, I really don't know what to do with that information because I've never directed anything else. I've got no context for it.
But people win awards in performance arts as such, and it becomes a thing, you know. Yeah. And it's everything from the Logies to the Oscars and everything in between. BAFTA award winning this, blah, blah, blah. So you're now a Webby Honoree winning director.
Yeah.
Which you can put on all your business cards and...
Yeah,
CVs.
Maybe I should make some business cards. I'm pretty chill.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
what started out as a ridiculously ambitious project has lived up to its expectations and probably exceeded them.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I think the thing for me that really lands, so that, you know, having a cute little gold star is nice, but at the start of this project, Olivia and I both thought, our mums are going to listen to this. This will be great. And that's all we have to worry about. And then all of a sudden people started messaging us from all over the world. A couple of nights ago, we had this really sweet night. Oh, God, I'm going to get emotional talking about this now. A night shift medical worker from America messaging us to say that what was getting her through these really horrific nights was us. And we had a point where someone sent us a text message saying that they do like an engagement activity thing in an aged care home. This was during the second lockdown. And they were taking in our story for, the aged care residents to listen to. And as someone who was separated from both my living grandparents in aged care, to know that someone was taking in this story and it was making these people, like they were apparently applauding after the episodes, and people that wouldn't normally be engaged with it were joining in for the story, and they might not have been able to read the book because, their eyesight was failing. That to us is where it mattered, because for us, we felt really alone and isolated as we were plodding away on this major project. Then we're finding out that it mattered to people. So that's where the work matters to me. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Is it still available for people to listen to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where do they find it?
Yeah, Pride and Prejudice Podcast.com. And it's got all the links on there. If people listen to it and they want to say hi to us, they can leave us a message. They can subscribe if they want to see other things that we're doing. So, I'm currently looking at a couple of projects because there's a few fans have been asking us to do another Austen. So I am looking at one, but fortunately every single other Austen is significantly smaller than that one.
Okay.
Aside from Sense and Sensibility, but, Pride and Prejudice is like the big one. And they can also rate the show if they want to. And there's merchandise, which is really cute. That was a throwaway idea, and we've had people. This is spectacular, though. We've had people in LA send us selfies of them wearing a Ballarat National Theatre T-shirt. So when people are like, this is an internationally significant award, I'm like, I don't care about that. There's someone in LA that's wearing a Ballarat T-shirt. That's
as a result of your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think it's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you. Can't wait to hear the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've also got the theatre company. I'm not involved in this one, but a few of the people from Pride and Prejudice have gone off, been inspired and done their own thing with Peter Pan. So maybe I'll chat to you about getting those guys in to talk about it.
No worries. Thanks, Liana.
Thanks.
Liana Skews, Pride and Prejudice Podcast Director and Webby Award Honoree, and that's a pretty big deal, as we discovered this morning.